Let's start this week's recordings off with an apology. Oh my God. An apology to the collective. I have been experiencing some tech difficulties, and gosh, as we all know, you play the password game, you're in and out, and you're in and out on the phone with Apple a million times trying to figure out why these apps aren't working. And that's just been the story of my life over the last couple of days. And then we go to have recording challenges and losing good information. And it's just been a time period of tech failures or difficulties. I shouldn't say failures. I lost it, as we all do from time to time. And I was trying really hard to not take it out on anyone, and just boom, it comes and explodes because I've been holding it in for so long. And I come back and I think the same old thoughts that I've always thought, where I've been taught to think, right? I'm tired today, so I'm less emotionally regulated. I need to eat. My blood sugar's low, so I'm hangry and I'm less emotionally regulated. And then they had given us this teaching. It was actually the second or third time. I've heard this one before, but every time it comes through in a way that's more poignant about how it's not actually possible to regulate your emotions, because information comes in through your system, comes up through your system, translates into emotions, and then your cognitive mind deals with it in the loop. So where is that disconnect? How do you manage what happened to me this morning, that moment of rage where nothing is working and the information is coming in, I guess, through the senses, which is so backwards to me to understand, because I'm having these problems here, literally my laptop and the mic and this and that, and everything is not working together. That seems to me to be a very cognitive loop, real fixed challenge. How is that bringing in information into my system that translates upwards into this feeling that's like then rage? Because we're taught to the other way, right? We're taught that this is happening, causes the mind to do this. We're supposed to stop it in its loop, which is basically what they've been saying is pressing down the emotion, suppressing the emotion. So instead, I let it go, and I don't know if that was the right thing to do. It felt like the thing to do in the moment. I just needed to release the energy as it was coming. So it seems like what happened today, I'm noodling this, I'm cognitively working on this. How does that experience directly translate to what they were saying in terms of information comes in, creates an emotional response, our brain does this? It seems backwards to what I literally just experienced. Often is the case that I can envision or I can sense the backward way that they've been talking about. It makes sense to me on some fronts, not as much on others. So that's where I'm at this week, is working within some of the teachings that they've given. And in particular, this one that came up in our last group call. So without adjusting what I'm doing here, I think what I'm going to do is literally bring this up and ask right here, while they may have other ideas for what they want to transmit today, but using literally just right now, this experiment, if we call it an experiment, if we call it what just happened right now, all these tech things going on that seem very external, then created the frustration in my mind or created the frustration in my system, but then needed the release of the frustration. I would like to discuss that, because that actually, I'm so sure that I'm not alone in this. And this is, I think, one of those examples, exactly what they've been talking about, where how we're taught to deal with it, or how our culture dictates that we deal with it, or whatever version of that you want to use, is a different thing. So I'm just gonna, let's find out what they have to say. Mm. Yes, thank you for bringing this to us, our attention. We would enjoy discussing this exact scenario and situation with you today. We would first and foremost like to mention, for those that are watching this in its entirety, the sense of state that she was mentioning. The sense that she is tired, the sense that she was, as you call it, hangry, was very real within her physicality. She is indeed over capacity today. She is indeed, or was indeed, needing to refuel the tank after a long morning. But this does not shift the way in which this situation arose. And it does indeed feel very external. It does indeed feel as though these circumstances or situations are evolving outside of oneself, which is to be understood by the cognitive mind, which then, as you are working through the situation and not finding a resolution, trying several things and not having them work, try again, not having it work again, trying again, not having it work again, creates a build-up of sensory information within the system, which at that point then, after the cognitive mind has done its work, creates a feeling. The feeling explodes, which in actuality is not a feeling exploding, it is a release of energy. And so we would like to propose a new way of thinking about this exact situation. And so, as the information is coming into your system, information is being pulled from your field, or what we know as your field. For those of you who are new to this is an indication of the energetic space that surrounds your physical being, usually 2 to 3 feet away from your physicalness. This energetic field, this extension of your core, is constantly reaching out and pulling in information. You often think of it as your sixth sense. You often think of it as if you encounter moments or situations or individuals that feel uncomfortable to you, you feel off with their energy. This is the pulling in of information from your field, oftentimes through a connection or a brushing against or some kind of, she does not have the word, it is not interference, but it is when two fields come slightly into contact with each other or skim past each other or are within a similar vicinity of each other. There is an exchange of information, and that information is what you consider to be your intuition or your sixth sense. And some of you are turned off to that information. Some of you are turned on to it significantly. Some of you are and continue to have the ability to dial it up or dial it down. In any respect, this information is constantly being pulled in through your system. You consider it consistently, in this example, as if the working through, the troubleshooting is coming in solely into your cognitive space, but it is not. As you read the FAQs and the troubleshooting guidelines, you feel as though your cognitive mind is only absorbing, and it is absorbing through your eyes and into your mind. That is not the case. Certainly you are pulling in information from this standpoint, but remember, your eyes are skimming and the information is being taken in through your sensory system and your brain and your full energetic core. And so, as the information is coming in and being absorbed And as it continues to be absorbed as similar information over and over and over again, there is a buildup, layer upon layer upon layer upon layer upon layer upon layer. You can think of it as layers of pancakes. One pancake on your plate, excellent. Pancakes on your plate, even better. 3, and it becomes a little overwhelming. 4, and the system starts to back up. 5, and it becomes too much. 6, 7, 8, and the information as it is being pulled into your system backs up on each other until there is a level of sensitivity, a sensing of this backing up. You resize this within your cognitive mind to a previous level of backing up, and your brain identifies this feeling as overwhelm or frustration or anger or whatever word you have chosen along your path in life to describe this feeling. And then the cognitive loop kicks in. Here is the feeling. Pancake, associated word that recognizes the sensations, which triggers the loop. And in her case, the loop is resist the pressure and explosion. And that is exactly what happened earlier today. So you see, while you think that this experiment comes in from the top down, in fact, it is not the case. It comes in through all of the senses. The more senses that are involved, the easier it is for the pancake stack to become overloaded. And this is why those who are incredibly sensitive through all of their senses, those who are lucky enough to be able to access a wide variety of information through multiple channels, come overloaded very quickly. We often call these people by several names, none of which truly capture fullness of who they are. And so at this time, as we continue this work, what there is to do is to look for each individual's way into structure that was just described. Some of you will have an easier time accessing the situation after the explosion. Some of you will have an easier time recognizing the pancakes as they stack up. Some of you will look for ways in which to suppress the pancakes even more. Some of you will leave the pancakes on the table and exit the restaurant. Within our trainings, it is our goal to bring you back into your sensations, back into your, as you might call it, intuition. Some of you might call it consciousness. No matter the word that you choose, regaining your access into the first primary sensation as it becomes available to you. That would mean, yes indeed, the first pancake stack, or the first pancake, perhaps the second, perhaps the third, at which point it becomes much easier to make appropriate decisions for your day that move you with ease and space through your day. And to this end, we recognize that many of you do not feel these sensations before they are at the extremes. Extreme frustration, extreme anger, extreme joy, extreme happiness. These are all often what we seek out. And as you become more acclimated through these meditations and exercises and experiments, you will find your level of access to the pancake stack becomes easier and easier, moving downward through the stack. And so if you are coming to us at a level where you only recognize the stack as it hits level 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, it may take us a while for you to become available to your stack at level 2 or level 3. If you come to the work with your state not taken care of, and by this we mean you are hangry, or you have not moved your body, or you have not taken in sunshine, you will generally find it levels your stack higher than lower. But it is not the reason or the cause for the explosion at the top. And so we recognize that those of you who are coming to this video, this conversation, may be missing the prior conversation. And should that be the case, please send us or comment a note, and the earlier transmission will be given in a link. For those of you who have partaken of this conversation in the past, this will now, we hope, provide clarity on next steps. We wish you a beautiful day. Oh, so it takes me a minute to talk after that, but I'm just going to sit and think about that. So it's not the lack of sleep or the lack of food that accentuates it, but that's not the cause. And while, let's say, my pancake stack today was maybe at 15, and maybe my state could have helped me realize it by the time it got to the 10th pancake instead of the 15th one. So the recognition of the pancake when it is 1 or 2. Got it. So there we go. I love your comments. I'd love to hear how you're experimenting with this. I'm going to be experimenting with this over the next month. Talk to you soon.